Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 119 of the Trevor Ohlsen Show. It's good to be here, an audio-only episode. Again, get over yourselves. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen, where we do this every week. As we've seen a steady decline, I basically decided no more video. Maybe, I don't know, probably not. It'll come back, but I'm digging the audio. Where we do this every Saturday, patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. What's going on? 10 a.m. here in Los Angeles, California. Windy day out. Wednesday, April 13th, 2022. What are you up to? What's going on? How's your week been? I'm off to do some donating today. I've been donating plasma, and believe me, it's just strictly it's strictly altruistic. It has nothing to do, let's see if I can use this word, with the compensatory aspect of it. I think I got through that word improperly. Been donating plasma the last few weeks. I do need the money, let's be honest. No, but I've when I was younger, I donated blood in high school, and I remember doing it, and it was very easy. I never had any sort of after effect because I drank water and ate food and didn't drink caffeine then or any alcohol, so it was fine. And I remember donating and telling myself, I was like, I need to do this more often, because people do need blood. They do need plasma. They do need sperm. I've contacted a number of people out there. Bone marrow. What else? Livers. I'm going to sell livers. We got one, right? That's the dumbest sentence I've ever said right there. Livers. We've got one, right? Trevor's really moving forward in life. I donated back in high school, and I haven't donated since. And so I was, looking for some extra cash out here in California. And it's the classic. It's like an archetypal broke college student story. It's like, oh, I gotta go out and donate some plasma, man. And so really, I've always kind of viewed it as a joke, but people do need plasma. That's not a joke. And so I was like, let's try it. Try it. See what's up. Maybe it ends up being easy, and and you help somebody in the process. You get a little gas money, a little gas in the tank. And, let's just see how it goes. So the first day I went, there was a whole process. My God, they ask you they need to know your entire life's history, folks. It's preposterous. I was there for like 4-ish hours, but that was just the first time. And they do say on the website that it's going to take that long. But, man, took a while. They want to make sure you're not, jabbing yourself with needles in your arms and your elbows. They want to make sure you don't have AIDS. You're not banging dudes. It's a very big thing on there if you're a guy. And it's like, have you ever had sex with a man? Ever. And ever's in all caps. And I told my friend that I donated, and he's gay. And he's like, oh, dude, sign me up. And I was like, well, don't think you can, buddy. And he's like, just send me the information. And I was like, I don't think you will want to go with them. Okay? They don't like gay people. No, they're just asking those questions. I don't know. I was kind of surprised when I saw it. Although I shouldn't have been. It's just funny. We live in such a politically correct time where it's like, if everybody's not included always, and if something isn't always sensitive to somebody's feelings, then it's almost shocking. Should be refreshing to read that. Listen, if you've banged a guy, you can't donate. They need a little discernment in this country. But no, so answered all the questions, knocked them all out, no STDs, free and clear, woohoo. Um, and yeah, donated, and the first time I did it, it was good. You walk in the back, folks. It's like it's a serious operation. You don't really see anybody in the waiting room. It's pretty bare and empty. And then once you like do everything that they require of you, you walk in the back, and there's like 60 people just laid out on these chairs and hooked up to machines, and you're watching the red blood cells separate from the plasma. It's really fascinating. It's really fascinating. They give you your red blood cells back. So it's like they separate, then they shove those red blood cells back up in you, and then they also when you're done they put a bag of saline into you, and they don't have any sort of saline warmer, and the saline is just to rehydrate your body, and what? It's very cold. It's cold. So I'm glad they warned me. Otherwise, I probably would have. I would have been a bit concerned, because all of a sudden I felt this ice cold liquid. You can feel it enter into all your blood vessels. It's a very interesting feeling, because they've got the needle in you, and then you finish everything. The saline starts coming in, and you feel it's like, it's a little cold, and then you feel the cold just go up into your bicep, and you feel it separating into all the different blood vessels and all the muscle tissue, and you feel it slowly creep up into your shoulder and like into your armpit, and then you kind of lose it once it gets deep into the body. But it makes you freezing cold. It really does. It's freezing. But very fascinating, the process. It's quite the process. I've donated twice now. I'm donating today, which means I'm hydrating up. If you donate plasma, folks, here's what you gotta do. First things first, if you're a guy, no banging other men. And if you ever did that one time, it's game over. You gotta leave, okay? Get out of here. We don't want you here. Huh? If you, sir, were intimate with another, sir, bye-bye. All right? Get your guy-loving, face out of mind. First things first. After that, you want to make sure you're hydrated. And then have food as well. Because you can have some adverse reactions. You can get nauseous and dizzy, and you can throw up. You can become attracted to men. There's all sorts of side effects that come along with it. But if you're hydrated and you eat and you get a good night's sleep and you don't have caffeine the day of, or alcohol the day of, or preferably the day before as well, you're good to go. I have had zero issues with any sort of effects. And the first time I was there went totally smooth after the sign-up process, which also was smooth, but also just long. They just put the needle in, and that's the part everyone's worried about. They're like, because it's they're stabbing you. They are stabbing you, and it doesn't feel great. But it's also incredibly minor, and you do realize, hey, I'm getting some compensation. Who cares if this is going to help somebody? Get me some gas money. All right? Got to cover that $6 gas. And the second time I went, a little more, much faster. 2 hours start to finish from the time including 30 minutes of driving. 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back. And so much shorter, much more efficient. But there was a nurse. She's newer. She's very sweet. I can't remember her name either. I always try to remember everybody's name. So we recognized each other, and we just said hey and whatnot. And we were having a good conversation, and then she stabbed me, which I was all for. Go for it, ready. And then she she's like, Well, the blood wasn't coming out, okay? So that's a problem. And then, another nurse comes over and she goes, "Oh, you went too deep." And then I jokingly chimed in and I was like, "Yeah, you went way too deep." And she was like, "Oh, did I?" And I was like, "I don't know the depth of the needle and how far it's supposed to enter into my arm. You're the nurse." "Excuse me, ma'am, I think you went just 2 millimeters too far. You need to back up and go upwards slightly with the angle." My God. And then so they were just moving it around like a belly dancer in there, just a metal belly dancer. Envision that in your arm. A very small metal belly dancer in your arm. And it wasn't pleasant. I just kind of I just look away and I just breathe deeply. I'm very, very familiar with breath work, and so I'm able to remain calm, unlike the rest of this anxious generation who loses their minds over everything. And so I'm able to remain calm throughout most things, most even bad things, because you just you self-soothe, you learn how to deal with it. You don't you don't need a fucking service dog all the time, okay? You don't always need one. Maybe you just need to learn how to breathe deeper. Odds are that's going to help. But anyway, so they're digging around in my arm, which isn't great, but I'm getting through it. And then they're like, "Okay." And then the other nurse, who's been there for a while, she's like, do you mind if we just do the other arm?" And I was like, "Yes, just take it out, please." And they ultimately decided that they would use the same arm, just a different vein, right next to the other one. And that ended up working just fine. And it's just a little pinch, that's all. And then you're good to go. But it takes some time, folks. It takes some time. This is really why they compensate you. It takes 45, well, and it depends on the type of person and how hydrated you are, how healthy you are. It depends on a number of different factors. But it takes roughly 45 minutes to an hour to extract the necessary plasma from your body. It takes 45 minutes to an hour. And if you aren't the healthiest and you're not hydrated and say you've eaten a bunch of fatty food, it's going to mess the whole thing up. The whole thing up. So you got to have some discipline. You got to show in there, ready to piss like a racehorse because you've been drinking so much water. Speaking of which, I haven't drank water in 12 minutes and 58 seconds. Let's go. There we go. There we go, folks. So yes, heading back to the center today. Heading back to the center to donate, to save a life. What can I say? I'm one of those guys that when I do something good for somebody, I need to post it on Facebook. I can't just not tell people. All right? Everybody has to know. I am a big believer in doing something good and letting people know that I did that good thing. And then ultimately, I want to hold that good thing over the person who I've helped. I want to hold it over their head for the rest of their lives. So I'm going to find these people who received my plasma and go, anytime I need, if I need something, like I'm out of coffee or like eggs, I'll be like, "Hey, Jill, can you run and grab me some eggs?" Jill, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. So why don't you hop in that little car of yours and go grab some eggs in this gang-ridden city? Good luck. There's a bullet hole at the gym. I'm speculating on that. I don't know if that's true. But there's a shattered window at the gym I go to. I'm doing some dips yesterday. I look over. I see a hole in the window. And the window is shattered. Not in... You know what I mean? It's like, it's still intact in one piece, but it's shattered. And so I look at that, and nobody in this gym does anything at all to help anybody. ever. And so I go to the front desk and I'm like, you guys know there's a shattered window over here, right? They had no clue. No clue. No other member was like, maybe we should let them know that a bullet entered and killed somebody. There could be a dead body in the gym that I go to in the corner, and people would just be getting their reps in. They'd be filming their ass on Instagram, literally their ass. There's a few girls there. It's funny about those girls. It's like you see those girls. You guys know which ones I'm talking about. The ones that are super hot, and you just you just view them as like an object, which isn't great. But that's what they are, and that's kind of how they act. And it's not what they are. You know what I'm saying? But you see those girls, and you see them snapping selfies and taking videos and everything, and you just don't want to be with them. You don't want to be with them. They're very enticing. Because you think, as a guy, you think you want to be with them. You think you want to be with, like, the hottest girl that you can see. Ever. That's what you think. And that's a trap, gentlemen. Ladies. It's a trap. It's a factor. You want to be attracted to whoever you end up with, obviously. You don't want to end up with, someone you can't even look at. That's going to be a fun 40 years. How's the marriage? It's great. We just never make eye contact and, just ever growing resentment. Just like every other marriage. No, it's... So, but you want somebody that you're attracted to, but it's funny. It's like I see these really hot girls. Yeah, where's this point I'm going? I have no idea. I see these hot girls and I go, I would love to, and then I think about it and I'm like, you wouldn't. That's all it would be though. It's like they're uninteresting and unopinionated, and all they care about is Instagram. Let's be honest. That happens. That happens. And it's always a bummer when you see someone who's like really, really attractive, but they're really stupid. Like that's a huge turn off. It is for me. Maybe if you're stupid too, then you can be two stupid, beautiful people together. But I don't know. It's a turn off for me if somebody's really dumb, or if they don't have any opinions, or if they've got nothing to say, then that's it. It's like, okay, well, game over. Game over. I don't care how attractive you are. I'll still be attracted to you, but it's like, oh yeah, you're the dumb one. That's it. That's it. All right, where are we going with this podcast, folks? Where are we going? What else is going on? It's funny. I've noticed every time I donate today, knock on wood. Every time I've donated, I've had a headache, and I'm like, why am I getting headaches? Prior, and it's always before I'm donating blood. So it's not the fact that they're taking the plasma. It's I'm getting headaches previous. Well, it turns out, folks, here's my theory. It turns out I'm experiencing caffeine withdrawal, which, of course, I knew the symptoms of caffeine withdrawal. One of them was headaches. And so, what are the other symptoms of caffeine withdrawal? Let's find out. Caffeine. Why don't you spell it right, Trevor? Caffeine withdrawal. Symptoms. Symptoms of caffeine withdrawal include headaches, tiredness, difficulty concentrating, nausea. That's an intense one. Muscle pain and irritability. What else can you get? Fatigue. You can get anxious. You can get depressed. You can have tremors. My God, we are addicted, are we not? I'll get the headache, and I'll get tired. Like, I bet later today I get very tired. But it passes. But it's funny how We view caffeine is so normalized in our culture. Everybody drinks coffee, most people, and yet it is absolutely it's a drug that if you take too much of, you die. Fascinating. I knew somebody who was very, very addicted to. I don't remember who this person was, but I remember they were addicted to caffeine, and if they were non-functioning without it. I'm a 2-cup kind of guy. 2 cups in the morning, and just to start off my day, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. 2 cups for me is good, and then maybe I'll sip a little bit with breakfast later on, because I'm up at 7:30, so those 2 cups are consumed between like 7:30 and 8:30, and then then I have breakfast at 10. And so I have a little bit then there as well. But I've noticed on the days that I'm donating that I get a headache, and I kept wondering why. Turns out I'm an addict, folks. Turns out I'm a junkie, caffeine junkie, baby. Caffeine junkie, baby. Baby. Caffeine's good though. I do love coffee. It's pretty impressive when people go from, serious drug abusers, like using crack and heroin and shit, or just chronic alcoholics, and then they get sober, and they get totally sober. Like no caffeine even. I've heard of people doing that. Completely sober, which I am no longer, by the way. I was sober, you guys, for well over 500 days. It was like, what's the month? It's April. It'd be 2 years in a month that I had stopped. And I stopped for a year and like another 6 months. Roughly, because what? May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That was 7 months, 1 year. Yeah, okay, so I had a little, that's right. I was completely sober, like 1 year, 7 months. No, shit, I'm messing the dates up. Because I remember the first little bit of whiskey I had was on Christmas of last year. And that was... right? May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That was, 7 months plus 12, 19 months. Okay. So 19 months, almost 20 months sober. How many days are in 19 months, roughly? How many days are in 19 months? 577 days, folks. I made it without really consuming any alcohol. I had 1 sip of champagne while I was over in Sweden to celebrate being on the show. But yes, close to 600 days sober. And then I really started drinking when I came out here, which was January. So yeah, December. Yep. So I very, very recently started drinking again. And it's been usually just a glass of wine with dinner if I do drink. Red wine, I'm a red wine guy. A little dry, nothing too sweet. I like that with dinner every now and again. And the reason I started drinking was I did a gig out here and I got a bottle of wine included and in the payment. And so I had a nice like $60 bottle of wine. And I just brought it home for my housemates who drink wine. And then I was like, I think we were having spaghetti one night, like with a meat sauce and a salad. And I was like, glass of red wine right now would be fantastic. And so I was like, you know what? You've been a good little sober boy. Have a little wine, have a little vino. Before you know it, I was snorting Coke, folks. Again. No. I had a little glass, and it was nice. And then I had a glass of wine like every single day with dinner that week, and drank the whole bottle. And I was like, that's nice, you know. It was nice to have a little bit of alcohol. And then, when was the first time I had some whiskey? After that, at the Black Rabbit Rose in Hollywood. Went out to a show, and instead of drinking wine, no, that's right, we were at a different place. Me and my buddy Marcel. I can't remember the name of it. We went there before we went to Black Rabbit Rose, and he's like, first round's on me. And so I was like, you know what? Instead of having wine, because as much as I like wine, it's heavy-ish, kind of, in comparison to whiskey, you know, the whiskeys. And so I'm a whiskey guy, and I was like, you know what? I'm drinking wine. What's the difference? I'm going to have, you know, Maker's Mark on the Rocks single. Let's go. Let's do it. And had a glass, and then had another glass at the show, and felt great. I also started feeling it a bit more than I was anticipating. I was like, oh, okay, settle down. You still got to drive home. And so I cut back a bit, and then I was good to go. But then, yeah, out again the other night, had some more whiskey. This is weeks later, and had Buffalo Trace, which is I've heard about from Joe Rogan, and had seen it, you know, at bars and whatnot, but hadn't ever tried it. So gave it a go. Very nice, a nice smooth whiskey. And I was in Culver City, so it was, it was cheap, air quotes. It was only $10. $10 for a drink, which is pretty darn good out here, folks. All you Michigan folks back home. That's pretty darn good. I'm getting rid of my body to make payments out here, folks. Yeah. But, what? Yeah, the whiskey's been good. So I can't say anymore, folks, that I'm sober. Now, I'm not drinking often, but I am drinking kind of on a weekly basis. I'm having it I'm trying to be more disciplined with it. You know, if I am because my thought process is, you know, I drank that bottle of wine throughout the week, and I was like, okay, well, that's not sustainable. I don't want to do that. But I enjoyed it. So I'm always thinking long term about things. And that's just the way I think. And so if I'm going to be drinking again, it has to be a sustainable model that I can do long term that's not going to really affect me in any sort of negative way. And so for me, having a glass or two of whiskey once a week on a Friday, like I have a date tomorrow, I'm going to have a drink with her. So, yeah, once a week, I'm trying to get back to doing that instead. But it's been good, folks. I will say, I mean, the time sober was very well spent and incredibly productive. And there's tons of benefits to living sober. Everything, but it's not, this isn't true. I don't know. It can be at times not as fun. Say if you're with a bunch of friends and everyone's drinking, or if you're at Christmas and everyone's having a drink and you're not, then everybody just ends up on a different frequency than you. They end up on this different wavelength than you, and it's more difficult to connect. And when that happened, I was always just like, yeah, whatever, it's not a big deal. Just one small piece of it. And it is. It's a very small piece. It's not, that didn't make or break it for me. I just kind of decided I was, I just kind of wanted to have a drink. So, yeah, so it's been good, folks. It's been good donating plasma, drinking some whiskey. Never on the same day. You don't want to do that. Got a date tomorrow. That'll probably go great. Living life out here, folks, in Los Angeles, California. Things are moving forward. Are they not? Are they not? All right, folks, that's the end of this show forever. We're done. Last episode. It's over. Bye-bye. No, we'll be back on Patreon on Saturday coming up. Be sure if you'd like to support the show, head over there. We're trying to reach $500 a month. We're closing in at $355 a month. So what, only $145 to go. Sign up. Don't use your money for you. Use it for me. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Patreon.com/Trevor Ohlsen. Keep doing your thing. Keep moving forward, folks. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.